Some brand new developments in the Maine mass shooting story. The killer is still on the loose. We didn't think he would be. We know he's an Army reservist. He's a well-trained firearms expert, and we are told by law enforcement that he was held at a mental health facility with symptoms of schizophrenia. 18 killed, 13 injured. 8 victims have been identified so far. Residents scared, as you can imagine. Schools closed, businesses closed, people hiding in their homes, while they also mourn the loss of those that they loved. And overnight, police converged for a second time on the suspect's home, calling on a bullhorn for the killer to come out with his hands up. After 2 hours, they left empty-handed. The murderer still on the loose. Now, there's an elite Border Patrol agent called BORTAC, and they've been deployed in Maine to try to help to find this guy. I guess there isn't much happening at the border these days, so they can spare plenty of manpower. I think that's really interesting. These BORTAC agents are often called in for high-profile manhunts. Remember, a few weeks ago, BORTAC agents brought in the escaped fugitive that was in Pennsylvania. Was on the run for 13 days. So this is nothing new. Hopefully they can get this guy sooner than 13 days, though. Want to bring in someone who's done a lot of work with these elite border agents and has done his share of manhunts as well. Sheriff and Arizona U.S. Senate candidate Mark Lamb. Sheriff, it's great to see you. Hated under these circumstances. Unfortunately, that's usually when we see you. Can these BORTAC agents get these guys? What's your level of confidence here?
Well, look, BORTAC is as qualified and experienced as they come. They are really good at what they do. Dr. Gina, I kind of liked what you said. It's not like we don't have things going on the border, but the reality is this administration has these guys completely handcuffed. So they may as well go up there and look for this criminal. I'm confident that this law enforcement with BORTAC and all the other guys, the sheriff's offices, the state police, everybody involved, that they will find this guy. These types of manhunts are not easy, but this guy's going to have a tough time getting away from all these guys, especially BORTAC, very qualified unit.
Sheriff Lamb, David Brody in D.C., and Gina hinted at this, or actually said it at the beginning of the show, about how this is unusual, that this has gone on so long. Typically, we see these folks arrested, these evil folks arrested, on that day or within hours. What do you think's happening here? Is this more about his tactics, about what he may be doing? He must have had some sort of plan afterwards, and it seems to be, at least for now, working. What's happening here exactly? Why do you think it's taking so long?
Well, he probably doesn't have a phone. He's probably not using credit cards. There's a lot of things that you would normally use to track a person down like this. If he hasn't gone to the residences, you're going to put a lot of pressure on family members to give up information that might lead you to where he might go in these situations. The problem is, just like what we saw, my heart goes out to these families that lost loved ones. He obviously has some major mental health issues. And when there's major mental health issues going on, their behavior becomes unpredictable, and it makes it harder to track somebody down like you would normally be able to track somebody down by going off of what their tendencies may be. This guy's obviously a schizophrenic or has some seriously major problems. And that makes it a little bit more difficult because he's unpredictable and you don't know where he's going to go or do.
For people, Sheriff, who live in the area, hunkered down, scared, hiding in their homes, I just keep thinking about how I hate Halloween. I hate Halloween altogether, but I hate Halloween commercials. They scare me in the middle of my happy show that I need to get my brain out of whatever I'm trying to get my brain out of. I can't fathom. I keep thinking about them when I see these horrendous Halloween commercials for like new movies coming out and things about mass murderers, right? And I think, oh, what can they even do? What's your advice for people that are in that position, that are hunkered down in their homes, that can't leave and that are scared?
You know, in a tragic situation like this, unfortunately, oftentimes the left will mobilize against guns. They will take the opportunity to say, look, this is why you can't have guns. But I guarantee you, every person in Maine, and there are a lot of gun owners in Maine, the very first thing they did was go and grab their gun from their safe or their nightstand and load it so that they could protect their family. So what I think you're seeing a lot of is a lot of families making sure their doors are locked, that their kids are protected. You're right, Dr. Gina, we're coming right into the Halloween, and if they don't catch this guy, that's going to be a very different Halloween for the people out in Maine. Hopefully somebody has some information on him. Somebody's seen him. That's typically what starts to move these cases. You're going to get some very qualified people out there looking for him. I've got a unit that's called Ghost, my gang and habitual offender strike team, and these guys are excellent at finding people. And I imagine they have units like this that are on the ground there, including BORTAC, that will eventually catch this guy.
Sheriff Lamb, before you get out of here, we have about 30 seconds or so. Tell us more about the campaign that you're running and get people up to date on that.
Yeah, look, the border, crime, the economy, national security, these are all major issues. And frankly, national security and the border are intertwined. And we need a proven conservative fighter that knows what to do to deal with these issues. So I've decided to run for the U.S. Senate. Please come support me at sherifflamforsenate.com. Let's take our country back. Let's take Washington, D.C. back, and let's get patriots back where they belong, which is in Washington, D.C., and restore this country to God and the Constitution.